People ask me this question: how do I find a business that works and will be a successful business? The first thing that you need to understand is really what business it is that you're trying to start, and sometimes it's a bit harder to do this right from the start. So what I use is this framework called the 4 Ps. The 4 Ps are a simple way of establishing, a great business idea that you can actually run with and invest your time and effort into. So, how the 4 Ps look like is that we need to start with our passions or our proficiencies, right? And these are fairly self-explanatory. Passions are things that you love. These are things that either keep you up late at night or you wake up in the morning raring to dive into. Your proficiencies are the stuff that are your skills, the things that you are good at. So I'm just gonna write it down here. You love and you are good at. And when you start from these two places, hopefully together, you can actually find stuff that really appeals to you. For me, one of my passions is technology and computers. Since a very young age, I was always dabbling with computers and spending lots of time on them, and I loved it because it allowed me to create stuff. Computers with programming and graphics design allowed me to create stuff that I could see on the computers and share it with the rest of the world. And that to me was something very fulfilling. So your passions might be different. Your passions might be something that might be something else. Maybe you love numbers, maybe you love math, maybe you love words, right? And these are all potential things that you can actually have as a passion. These passions that you have may be your proficiencies as well, right? There's a very strong correlation because whatever you love doing typically ends up being the stuff that you're good at just because of the function of how it works, right? You spend so much time on it, you're obsessing about it all the time, you stay up at night thinking about it, you wake up in the morning, first thing is you think about it as well. That means that you work harder, you work longer than anyone else in those areas, right? And that's why passions typically come hand in hand with proficiencies. Sometimes, though, it's not the case. Sometimes we might be really good at something like math, but our passions might end up being in something else, might be in, charity work, or we might want to do something a little bit more community based where we interact with people. It depends, right? And the clearer we are with the passions and the proficiencies that we have, the easier it is to have a base on which we can start this exercise. So, knowing this, knowing what your passions are, knowing what your proficiencies are, you can start moving on to the next point, the next P, which is purpose. Purpose is something that gives you reason and meaning. It's the why you do things. And this is also really important. The sad fact of the matter is that passions and proficiencies only take you so far. If there's no purpose, then it's easy to get distracted. It's easy to get waylaid. It's easy to get to give up. It's easy to get involved in another area that might be more interesting at the moment. So the purpose actually keeps you on track. It keeps you with a very clear direction. And this purpose could come in the form of wanting to start a business because you want to take care of your family. You want to start a business because your customers are dependent on you. You want to start a business because no one else can do as good a job as you do. And that might be the purpose. That might be the purpose that keeps you going. And that's something that I think is really important to figure out as well. And the last P of this of the 4 Ps is really to understand the pain points. Now, pain points are not something that comes from you. It's something that comes from the market, and we have to understand what is it that the market is saying. And the market is basically consists of your customers. So one of the problems that a lot of entrepreneurs make is really to put the cart before the horse. And how this looks is that they spend all their time, their money, their effort, their energies into creating a product, a solution, a business around something that typically ends up not being a real need at all. This is very common. And the way to resolve this is to really understand what is it that the market has a pain point or a problem about, right? Pain points are typically real world problems. They are serious frustrations. And these are things that are debilitating. One of my favorite analogies about this is vitamins versus supplements. So vitamins are a much harder product to sell because you're not really solving anything. Like you're selling a dream of a future, but that's a lot harder to sell versus medicine. Selling a multivitamin versus selling aspirin, for example, that's going to be a major difference. The person that needs aspirin is looking for pain relief, and you know that person is willing to pay for it, right? That's how you know it's a real pain point. Without aspirin, their headaches, their fevers, it's going to persist, and it's going to be literally a pain point that they are facing. Supplements, on the other hand, usually paint a picture of good health and whatever else that supplements typically promise. And that's a lot harder because there's no pain point, there's no immediate pain point that people are facing that you can actually use in your marketing angles, your sales messages, your product features and benefits. It is a lot harder to incorporate into your business. That's why there are these 4 points that we always want to be very, very clear and aware about. At the start, my passions around technology and my proficiencies in graphics design and programming led me to create a business that I knew could help businesses with their problems that they faced. Back then when Vodian, the company that I started, the main thing that we focused on was providing 24/7 customer support. That was the one of the biggest issues that we face. And we were customers of the industry ourselves. We knew how painful it was to be a customer and not be able to get hold of anybody for help, after office hours. That's the typical situation way back in 2002 when companies didn't have 24/7 customer support. That was why we created our business. I used the passions that I had, the proficiencies that I had with a strong purpose and solved a real pain point in the market. This same example can be used with anything as well. Like if your passion is about math and your proficiencies are in like accounting, then you could really help people solve their accounting or tax issues, to run businesses that are compliant and allows them to have a really good financial overview of their cash. And this is something that businesses or business owners face because it's really hard to do accounting sometimes. And that's why you have companies like accounting firms and even software like Zero doing so well. Another example is if you love language, if you love English, if you love words and your proficiencies are writing, then your purpose could be creating good copy for your clients, because then you can allow them to actually showcase their products and services and reach out to their clients. And this is a pain point because without good copy, they wouldn't be able to do that. And this is something that the market will pay for as well. So all these together creates a really logical and really they come together in a way that allows you to create a business that actually works. So if this is something that you are going through right now, if you are looking at creating a business and you don't really know whether it's going to be successful, I would encourage you to use these framework. It's a very simple framework that you can just apply and use right now and see if that really helps you find out if that business idea of yours is something that can work. And if you know someone that actually will benefit from this, hey, share this with them. Share this video with them. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. Let me know your comments down below too if this has benefited you or if this has changed the way you thought about things. I would like to find out, and I would like to reply to that as well. I'd like to read all your comments. One last thing, please smash the subscribe button so that you'll be notified whenever I put out new videos like this. And cheers, I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care.